Hey guys, what's up? Roger here. Alright, we're doing today's video, or this week's video. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Did you guys happen to watch the governor's debate, the West Virginia governor's debate last night? It's just disappointing across the board. Disappointing across the board. One tells us that there's no more room for cuts, which just means that there's more taxes to come. Then the other one, Bill Cole was the one responsible for the West Virginia vapor tax, put his name right on it. So, I don't know, folks. We don't have, in my mind, we don't really have a good candidate at this point. Sad. I'm going to have to pick the lesser of two evils, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. You have to make your own decision. But definitely do your homework. Speaking of voting, don't forget, we are still collecting these guys right here. These are the surveys that we sent out to all of the people running for office. Neither one of your governor options have responded to it yet. So, there's that. But if we get a response from them, obviously they will be added to the list, which will be going... we're going to be cutting that loose very, very soon because you guys are going to need it. Early voting is coming up. All right, check this out. This is from Jonathan Hicks. He is a local artist. In the comment or the description of the video, I will put a link to his Instagram and Facebook. You can check him out. Awesome local artist. He does a lot of work, a lot of art for us. You'll see it kind of around the building here, and a lot of our logos and stuff were done by him. So awesome artist, definitely check him out. So what are we going to be talking about today? Well, like I said last week, Alien 220. We're going to be talking about that. The Mage RTA, or the Mange, depending on if you're me or Dina. And then two liquids. We're going to take a look at one kind of Team Cheap Juice, and then one new premium. And let me see what else. I think that should be just about it for this week. Won't make it too long. I think last week was like a half an hour, so we may try to keep it a little bit shorter than that. We'll see. We'll see. So let's get started. First, let's talk about the Alien 220. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link in the comments to a very in-depth review of the Alien 220. I think it's DJ LSV Vapes. And not only did he review it, but he hooked it up to an oscilloscope, and he made sure he tested its output power, and he completely tore down the mod into a billion little pieces and then put it back together. And hell yeah, dude. I mean, that's a hell of a review. He's got to have hours on doing those videos. So awesome, and I'm definitely going to link that down. So if you want to watch a really in-depth review of it, by all means, check out his review. But if you just want my overview, you're about to get it. Okay, so first off, their claim of 220 watts. 220 watts, dual 18650, and yes, it does 220 watts. It actually, in that other review that I had mentioned, it actually overachieved and actually hit 221. So, hoorah there, right? We're actually getting the power that we're buying. Now, right now I have the Goon on it. I'm running at 165 watts. And there's a lot of things about this mod I'm impressed with. There's not one functionality issue that I really have issue with. Now, their Smock's menu really hasn't changed much. So it's still like this goofy, their interface is not my thing. I just feel like the interface is a little clunky, and that, I mean, basically is my only complaint, is that the interface is a little clunky. I like the switch setup. This is kind of that, remember the X Cube with the lights, and I was like, I don't know about the lights. This has kind of that setup where the switch is down the side. I really like that, so you don't even have to look for the button. You just pick up the mod and squeeze it, and you got it. Another thing I liked, always made me nuts, One of the reasons why I really liked unregulated mods, one of the reasons why I really liked DNA mods, was because they didn't have that delay. You know, that press the button and then we fire, right? So we got rid of that. That's not here. In testing, 200 milliseconds. From the time you press the button to the time the RTA goes off, 200 milliseconds. Awesome. So basically instantly. So no delay, which I hate the delay, so I'm really happy with that. It makes the power it advertises, and I really like that. And it comes with a decent tank, and we'll switch over to that right now. We're going to take off the goon. Even though I like my goon, use my goon a lot. And I think I remember last week we mentioned I was going to take a look at the Twisted Messes 24. I apologize, I had not gotten to it yet. Things have been incredibly busy at the shop, and I just hadn't had time to get to it. Between this and the Mage, I just haven't had time to get to the Twisted Messes. So we'll probably cover that next time. So 65 watts and the Baby Beast. So let's give the Baby Beast a shot. And it's going to ask me if it's a new coil, which yes it is. I'm telling you, I'm impressed with this tank, but at the same time, I kind of don't like it. And the only reason I don't like it is because of the capacity. It just doesn't hold a lot of juice. Now, if you're vaping at 65 watts, you're still going to fill it up a lot, but obviously you're not going to fill it up as much as if you were vaping like 150 or 160. So it's not that bad, but I just hate the fact that the capacity is so small. Right now I've only run one coil in this, and again, you know how this works. I'm going to be using this and kind of reporting, so next video I'll probably still be using this. So I'll kind of let you know what I think about both of the coils that come with it. But right now I'm using a 0.4, which is like if you had a TFV4, you're going to think Q4 here, right? So it's a single coil stack, straight up the middle, straight airflow, ton of airflow. The vape is very dense off of it for 65 watts. It's very impressive for 65 watts. The coil is rated best at 65 watts max. Clearly can be pushed beyond 65 watts. I vaped it at 70 and 75 watts and didn't have an issue, even though I believe that 65 watts of flavor is probably the best. Yes, man, I just gotta tell you, I like the flavor. It's got the top fill just like the Big Beast. You know, the nice top fill, swing door top fill. It's nice and tight, it's not loose. Don't have to worry about swinging open on you inadvertently. This coil is very good. We'll see about the other coil. Very airy, lots and tons and tons and tons of air. If you like an airy vape, you're gonna like this. Now, obviously not much of it's a weird matchup, right? It's a weird matchup. You got a tank that's only going to do 65 to 80 watts on a mod that does 220, right? So you're like, but I can see it because my average, if I look at my average customer that comes in the shop, 65 to 70 is right around the average. That's where most people vape. So giving them a nice little compact mod that vapes really well, it has really good flavor, and then at 65 watts you're going to get excellent battery life out of this thing. I mean, I put 2 batteries in it, vape it all day at 65 watts without any issue. Hardly even, I mean, you still got plenty of battery life even at the end of the day. So I've been really impressed with the battery life. Couple options that I do like for people that like to forget to lock their mod. This has an auto lock feature, so it will actually, over a period of time, if it hasn't been used, it will automatically lock. That can be annoying if you pick up your mod and try to fire it and it doesn't fire and it's locked. But if you have a tendency to forget to lock your mod, you just stick it in your pocket. It's nice to know that you have the option that it will auto lock. I think that's great. Another thing I really like, wait for it to go to sleep. As you can see, I have it set at 65 watts. Wait for it to go to sleep here, and then we'll show you something. Apparently it's not sleepy time. Come on. Waiting for it to. I don't know what I have the sleep time. And that's the thing is that even though Smock's interface is really clunky, and I hate how clunky it is, it does have lots of options. So you can adjust the wake sleep time. So right now I have it set at 65 watts. So you can see I can just press the up and down power button. Right, I'm gonna wake it back up. Still 65 watts. All right, there's a lot of mods on the market that if you were to do that while I was asleep, it would change the wattage on you. So I like that. When it's in sleep mode, you can accidentally hit these power buttons up and down. It's not going to change the wattage. I really like that about it. Vape's really good for 65 watts. I don't know if we can see this, but you see there's A and B on the batteries, and you can see mine are starting to get pretty low. But A and B on the batteries there, and that correlates to the door. So there's A and B on the door plate, which I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Right, so if you happen to have a battery that's going bad, and you see, we'll wake it up here, comes up Smock. Now this boot up time, I don't know, I just booted up. I mean, yeah, that's cool, but just to start it. If you have a battery that's going bad, it'll tell you that A or B, one of them is sagging too much or the battery's dying too fast, and you'll be able to open it up and know exactly which one of those cells is bad. You won't have to guess. So I think that's pretty cool about it. We're going to spend some more time with it. Again, this is kind of my first look, but thus far I'm extremely pleased with it. I think the power seems to be right on par. This tank has excellent flavor. Wattage capability, I mean, it's all right. It's right in that average, right? It's not a cloud beast by any means. You could obviously put a cloud beast on this if you wanted to, but for what this tank is, it is excellent. Good stuff. Good stuff. So again, next week we'll retouch on this. I'll talk about the tank, especially using the second coils. And so I'm going to put my goon back on, because that's what I've been using, is the goon. And I've been running it with the goon. I mean, if you know me, you probably know what build I have on here. It's 10 wraps of 22 on 3.5 stainless steel. Running at 160 watts. It moves up through the wattage very, very fast, which I like. I hate the fact that I have to wait, and it'll move up through the wattages very fast. It does have memories, and if you put it in memory mode, it will just go through your preset memories. So if you ever notice that it gets jumping 10 watts, it won't do individual wattages, but it's jumping 10 watts at a time, you probably accidentally put it in memory mode. But it has like 20 memories. Like, who the hell needs 20 memories? That's crazy. But it does have 20 memory settings, or 22 memory settings. It's nuts. It's way more than you need. You can see that H on the screen. So it has that kind of that punch setting. So there's like a normal, and then a soft, and then a hard, right? So I just put it on hard because I want it to ramp up as quickly as possible. Good stuff. All right, so let's talk about the Mage. Ah, yes. Remember we talked about that last week. We're going to review that. This is the Coil Art Mage. And, yeah, this is a good one. This is a real good one. Easy to build on. If you had a moonshot, yeah, you know, And this is not a pain in the ass to build, which is awesome, right? Has 2 velocity posts. Now, I saw some YouTube reviews. I can't remember who did a review on the Mage, and the posts were off. Like, one was higher than the other one. Well, that must have just been because it was a pre-production model, because the production model, the posts are nice and even. Velocity style posts, plenty of airflow. We've got 3 airflow slots around here. With that said, my recommendation on the wattage on this one is about 65 to 70. And much above that, I feel like it's starting to lose a little bit of flavor, and I just don't think it's ideal. The airflow seems to be really good for 65 to 70. Probably wouldn't go much higher than that, in my opinion. Now, right here, we've got 7 wraps of 24 gauge stainless steel on 3.5 millimeters, and it's wicked. Not super tight, but I would say tighter than I've probably wicked most of my RTAs, just by accident. You know, I just put a lot of cotton in it, but it seems to be doing really, really well. Dina has borrowed this, so that's for me, it's a good indicator. If I build something, if I start using it, and then Dina happens to borrow it, that's generally an indicator that it's probably a pretty good device, because she doesn't like to use stuff if it's hard to use, or the flavor's not good, or it's, you know, crazy. So she immediately, you know, tried this and really liked this. It's become the community mod. This is the VT75 running a single 26650. Can run an 18650 mode. Got set 65 watts with the Mage on it. Flavor is excellent. Like I said, airflow I feel like it's good for 65 watts, 70 watts tops. This is the refill, and what I can tell you about that is this is completely smooth, right? So if you were to over tighten this, it's going to be a bear to get off, because there's no knurling, there's really nothing for you to grip onto to take this off. The refill holes are plenty big enough, 2 of them, and they're plenty big enough. But this part goes in your mouth, right? So if there was any kind of knurling, it would be kind of uncomfortable. So I understand them not putting any kind of knurling on it, but it would be nice for removing the top, because if you over tighten that, you're going to have a bit of a time trying to get it off. This is the first wicking in this tank. I haven't re-wicked it. We have run, let me see, about 3 different flavors through it, and it seemed to do really, really well at just pushing the old flavor out, letting the new flavor in. It seems to be wicking very, very well. The wicking holes are plenty big enough, you can see them there. Plenty big enough for the wattage that I'm running it at. Again, if you vape at like 150 every day, or 125 or 110 or whatever, it's probably not the tank for you. You probably want to go with something a little bit bigger, a little airier. But if you're like that target 65, 70 watt vapor or below, very, very good tank for you, absolutely. Flavor is just outrageous. Maybe a little much. Flavor is really good. I mean, honestly was surprised at the flavor, because the Moonshot was really good. Remember the Moonshot? If you guys haven't used the Moonshot in a while, the Moonshot flavor was excellent, right? It was just kind of a pain in the butt to build on, where this one removes that pain in the ass and still gives you that great flavor. So now I feel like maybe this has a little bit less air than the Moonshot, but that all could be on my build, because when I put the build in, I kind of made sure to put my coils down low, close to the air. So moving the coils up a little bit would probably increase the airflow a little bit, but I don't want air getting past the coils and shooting straight up past the coils, because that's just going to degrade the flavor, and I definitely do not want that. Good stuff. Good stuff. So the Mage, definitely worth checking out. Good, affordable, rebuildable too. I mean, it's a really good price on it. So we're definitely pleased with that. All right, so we're going to take a look at a couple juices. We're going to use our Alien. Typical wattage for me, like 160. And we got two liquids to take a look at today. One is on the more affordable side, which is the first one we're going to take a look at, which is Old Fashioned Elixir Apple Pie. So let's take a look at their description. As soon as I find it here. Old Fashioned Elixir Apple Pie is fresh picked apples baked with spices and buttery crust for a classic apple pie. So let's first give it the smell test. It doesn't smell intensely, you know, like appley or cinnamony, which a lot of people that like apple pies tend to not like how much cinnamon they put in it. So yeah, it's very back down as far as the cinnamon goes. Let's do some old drippy here. Now your experience may be different, obviously, if you vape at a different wattage or you have a different build. But this is just my opinion at my normal wattage on an RDA that I typically use. Okay, well, as you can see, it's plenty cloudy enough. I don't know if it has a PG-VG ratio on here. PG-VG is 70-30. The apple pie, it's very smooth. Like, there's no throat hit to it. There's no like cinnamon, you know, hit. None of that cinnamon hit that you would expect. Very smooth. I like it. It's available 0, 3, and 6. With us, 30 mil in size, and they go for $15. So if you come in and you hit the categories and you hit 15 or less, this is in that category, 15 or less. Very good. I like it. Apple pie. Very smooth. This is the kind of juices I like. No throat hit, no imbalance. There's not more of one thing than another thing. Everything is just right there together, right where it should be. Very impressed with OFE Apple Pie. Good stuff. Let's back her up here. We're gonna find our next one. And it is from, well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. It is from Philip Rock, and it is called HomeSlice. Now, this is one of the newer ones from Philip Rock. It is Signature Series line, or this is actually, would this be considered the Signature Series? I don't know, but it looks like a Signature Series bottle. So let's give this a shake. Now this is a sweet yet tangy lemon meringue. This is way out of my ballpark. I don't do this. I generally stay away from anything citrusy. I know I got a lot of people that do like citrusy stuff. So we're gonna take a look at this. This is a lemon meringue pie. Generally, lemons give me a headache, but we shall see. Let me smell here. Okay, yep, it smells exactly like a lemon meringue pie, which is crazy. It's not necessarily like a lot of lemons I get like a pledge from. If you've ever used pledge and you're like, it's kind of pledgy. I don't really get a pledge necessarily from it. Let's put some on the old goon. and give her a vape. Now this is 3 Nick, yes. Yep, 3 Nick. So we're gonna get an idea of the Nick, see if it has any kind of throat hit to it, along with that kind of citrusy flavor. I know I have a lot of citrus fans out there, so absolutely this might be right up your ballpark. Wow, that was more chill than I expected. I kind of expected it to be like super over the top, like Pledge, and no, it's very smooth, and it really didn't have like an overly intense. I've only got 2 airflow holes open on the Goon, so it's not set like super airy. I think if a lot of the lemon vapes or citrus vapes that, like, say you like citrus, but some of them are too intense for you, this is probably going to be right up your alley. I mean, it's not really super intense. I'm not a lemon fan, and I don't find it offensive at all. This one, 0, 3, and 6, 30 mil, price range $22. $22. Let me see if we have a PG-VG ratio on here. Ding, 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 ding. We do not have a PG-VG ratio on here. I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can investigate that real quick. Where is mine? I don't want to waste too much time. Does it have? There it is. Let's see if we can get a idea of the PG-VG ratio on this one real quick. %, VG, ladies and gentlemen, 80% VG. So that's pretty good. Makes sense. It was pretty cloudy. I like it. Good stuff. Now, like I said, lemons aren't in my little group of juices I normally vape, but if I were to try a lemon, I would probably try that one, because that one is actually pretty good. All right, guys, that's all I have for you.